When I was a child, I had a Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles video cassette called How It All Began. It was, as the name suggests, the first few episodes of the TV series, which included the story of how these little pet turtles mutated into the pizza-loving, crime-fighting heroes that I'm sure we all remember and love. And I loved that video, and not just because I too wanted to be a pizza-eating, crime-fighting hero. I love origin stories. And we get them all the time now in films, especially superhero films. We get the stories of how it all started, how they got their powers. And we often even get prequels to books, TV shows, films that have been successful. I love Star Wars, and we got a whole load of prequels to the Star Wars films, which were maybe not quite as good. But those things taking us back before the start of the first ones, showing us how the characters we love came to be. Our reading today, day 1 of our Lent reading challenge, is the first 28 verses of John 1. And it's a bit like an origin story and a prequel. John starts where every good story starts, in the beginning. John wants us to know something about the main character of his Gospels from the very outset. The Word, that's Jesus, was with God, and the Word was God. And through him all things were made. John is telling us right from the start that Jesus is God. That's not a conclusion he's going to come to at the end. It's not a climax he's building to. It's something, it's information we need before it begins. Jesus is God. Jesus didn't just come into existence with Mary. But Jesus has been around since before the world was made. He was involved with Father and Spirit in the creation of the world. This is a story John wants us all to know before anything else, of God come to earth to make his dwelling among us so that we might be adopted into the divine family. That's an incredible opening, isn't it? Before we are told anything else about what Jesus did during his time on earth, we are told about his awesome credentials, his divinity, his power, and we are told that his love for us was so great that he gave that up to come to earth for us. In another flashback to my youth, in 1991, Bryan Adams wrote a song for the film Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. It was called Everything I Do It For You. And I sincerely apologise if that now gets stuck into your head. You know it's true. The reason I mention it is because, again, this is what John wants us to know. Before we read about what Jesus did and taught, before we hear of Jesus' death and resurrection, we are told he came to that which was his own, but his own did not receive him. Yet to all who did receive him, to those who believed in his name, he gave the right to become children of God. God came to earth and he came for us. Everything he did was for us. And we should read the whole of the rest of John with that in mind. As you read each day over the next month and a bit, keep in mind that everything we are reading in John's Gospel, everything that Jesus did, all he taught, it wasn't just for those men and women he met more than 2,000 years ago. It was for all who would believe in his name. It is for you. Tomorrow we're going to be reading together the second half of John 1, verses 29 to 52. I'll see you then.